Hey, have you ever wondered about how to do an overhead press correctly without messing up your shoulders? I've gotten this question so much, especially from patients that have had rotator cuff tears or shoulder impingement problems. Oftentimes they've seen their doctor, their physician, and the physician with good intent is recommending that they stop doing overhead presses. But what they really don't know is that there's a right way to do it that actually helps out shoulder problems, which I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you exactly how to do an overhead press correctly so that you can help shoulder problems rather than make them worse. Now there's three things I'm going to cover in this video, so pay close attention when I'm covering those. And if you've already been doing overhead presses, you might need to lower the weight, you might need to back off a bit to some very simple weights and just get the motion down correctly so that you can learn how to do this the right way moving forward and incorporate it into weight progressions that you're going into moving forward. Now, if you're not a weightlifter, if you're thinking, oh gosh, I don't ever want to lift weights up over my head, that's cool too. What I want to just plant the seed of is that it is a good idea to maintain some decent strength, being able to lift weights up over your head or some sort of resistance up over your head. The reason is we're designed to pick up things up overhead. That's, if you look at our genetic design as humans, we're bipedal, meaning we stand on 2 feet. We're designed to be able to lift things up over our head. Doesn't mean that it has to be heavy, but you should maintain some strength. Otherwise, you're going to run into some very common issues like rotator cuff tears, shoulder impingement issues, neck arthritis, shoulder arthritis. There's all kinds of things I can go into, nerve problems, disc issues in the neck. I'll stop. But what I tell my patients here in the clinic that are coming with some sort of neck or shoulder problem is you've got to maintain your overhead lifting strength just a little bit moving forward as you age. If you can do that, if you can be able to pick up 10, 15, maybe 20 or more pounds overhead for several times, maybe 5 to 10 times, you're going to be in fantastic shape as you age over time. Real quick, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Dr. David Midoff. I'm a specialist physical therapist from Paso Manual Physical Therapy. Let me show you 3 big mistakes that people make when doing overhead lifts. The first huge mistake, and you've got to correct this, it's the most important thing to correct, is not shrugging. What everybody thinks about whenever doing an overhead press is that all the motion comes from the ball and socket joint of the shoulder, that it's all just the ball and socket moving up. What people forget is that your shrugging muscles move your shoulder blades up. Your shoulder blades actually have tons of motion. They can move up and down, they can roll forward and roll backwards, and they actually rotate this way. So they'll rotate in this direction. And when you shrug, it kind of wants to rotate out, but when you shrug and reach up, it rotates out quite a bit. So you've got to take advantage of that motion. And just real quick, let me give you the scientific reason for that. The shoulder blade serves as the socket for the ball and socket joint. So if you shrug and rotate it up, it positions the socket like so in an overhead reach, which actually takes off a lot of stress from the rotator cuff tendons. If you don't shrug and rotate your shoulder blade, then the socket stays facing more sideways than it does upwards. And if you're trying to pick up heavy weight up overhead or even just lightweight, and you do that all the time, repetitively over time, you're going to mess things up. That socket's going to be facing more outwards, and the ball is going to butt up against the top edge of the socket. There's a bone there called the acromion as part of the shoulder blade, and it starts to rub it, and that's what tends to mess up our rotator cuff tendons and other tissues in the area over time. That's why these tears happen. But if you shrug, like I'm going to show you right now, you should be safe, and it actually will help you out over time. A secondary effect of this is you have to, as long as you're keeping good neck stability, you have to keep your chin a little bit tucked in. I'll tell you about that. You're going to prevent neck problems as well. You can hurt your neck if you're doing this inappropriately, so watch my neck as well. Now, without any weights, what I mean by the shrug is whenever your hands are coming up, say you're going to pick up something up overhead, once your hands are about face level, you need to start to shrug a little bit. So if you think about all the motion you can go up in shrugging, that's where you're going to end up at the very top. But when your hands are coming up to about face level, shrug a little and then keep shrugging more so that you're maximally shrugged at the top. Now watch my head and my chin. It's kind of down. I'm not, what I want to do if I didn't think about it is to do this right here. My chin would stick out, my head would kind of look up a little bit. Some people want to go down. Everybody's got little different things they want to do. but what they all don't do reflexively, which we need to do, is just tuck it in like you're making a small double chin. If you think about making a big, huge double chin, you're doing like a little baby one, a mild one, or a 25% double chin is what I tell people often. So maintain that as you come up. Now, if you're gonna add weights to this, I've got some 5-pound weights here. So this is 10 total. You'd be doing the same thing, whether it's hand weights, dumbbells or plates like this, a medicine ball, doesn't matter. Just the concept's the same. Keep that chin down. Once your hands are about face level, begin to shrug. By the time you come all the way up, you should be shrugging all the way. And every time you do reps like that, you need to shrug. If you look at people doing overhead lifts, or if you look at yourself in the mirror, oftentimes what people do, if you look at the space between their neck and ear, right on the side of their head and neck right here, when they're coming up, they don't close this space much. What you should do ideally is try to shove your shoulders up so high, because you're shrugging, that you don't have much space there. Now there's genetic differences. Some people have thinner necks, or their shoulders just don't go that far, but you need to try to get it as far as you can. You need to close that space as much as possible. If you're doing that, then we know that you're shrugging adequately, and you should feel it whenever you're, even with no weight, when you're coming up, you should feel these shrugging muscles working. That's a good sign. That's good feedback that you're shrugging enough on an overhead lift. Now I'm going to do it with a barbell, with a heavier weight. Got a barbell here. This is 45 pounds here. So I personally like to do overhead lifts in the gym. I do Olympic lifting that involves some overhead lifting, and I'm thinking about this all the time. So I'll grab the bar, and when you're coming up, you're shrugging all the way. Now, the next tips are going to be more for the people that like to exercise, like to weight lift, or are looking to start to weight lift. So if you're not there yet, that's okay. Don't worry. It's okay. It's okay to just stop here and tune out, or pay attention to the video for the future. So at some point, maybe the distant future. But these are important things as well, especially as you're going into heavier weightlifting up overhead. Going back to the barbell, using a wide grip is not good. And going back to the science of it and how the socket has to align properly, think about it. The wider that you are, you don't give your sockets in the ball and socket joint a chance to go to face vertical as much as possible. You want to do that so that you can stack your bones on each other. If you're not stacking your bones on each other, then what your body is forced to do is put a lot of pressure, a lot of force through the tendons, and that's what injures tendons over time. The more you can get vertical, which means your hands have to come closer together at the top, it's going to be better for your shoulder joints. Now, this goes completely against what a lot of people have been taught if they've been weightlifting. If you are an Olympic lifter out there, or you've done weights through school, through high school, or you've gotten a trainer, you've paid a trainer some money, and they've shown you how to lift weights appropriately, they may have shown you to put your hands out wide when doing an overhead lift. This is especially common in CrossFit. With Olympic lifting, like a snatch is a type of exercise where you're picking up a barbell from the ground and you're coming up. They'll tell you to grip the bar pretty wide typically, and when you come up, you're right here, and they don't tell you to shrug, because that's not common knowledge. And it's not, but before I go any further, it's not the trainer's fault. It just isn't common knowledge. So this isn't something that people should know necessarily. I mean, I'm trying to make it more common knowledge by doing videos like this, but what you have to understand if you're watching this is don't feel offended, or don't feel like somebody was trying to withhold information from you. Likely if your coach or your trainer, whoever it was that showed you how to lift weights overhead, they probably need to see this video as well to learn about how to do this better. So let me show you with the barbell what it'll look like. Oftentimes people will grip kind of wide right here, and then when they do that overhead lift, or the part of the lift that's overhead, they'll be wide right here, and you can see I just can't shrug as effectively as if I had my hands closer together, more like shoulder width apart. Now I can shrug real good. But the wider you go, you just lose leverage. You just don't have a good angle, and you can't use your shrugging muscles as good. So get a wider grip. Now, if you're using dumbbells or free weights, not a barbell, It's a lot more intuitive. Your body just wants to bring it in. You just can't hold it out at an angle very well. So it makes sense that when you're holding a barbell like this, get a more narrow grip, about a shoulder width apart grip. And there isn't a perfect distance. You don't really want to measure it. There's markings on the bar as well, where the rough part of the bar and smooth parts of the bar are. Some people go by that. That's fine if you want to use that. But there isn't really a perfect measurement. You kind of have to just do it and feel it. See what it's like to shrug while you're doing an overhead lift and adjust your grip accordingly so that you can find the best grip for yourself whenever you're going into overhead lifting exercises. Now, I've been a CrossFitter in the past. I've gone to several CrossFit gyms, and I've modified the way that I do weightlifting, obviously, whenever I'm doing snatches or clean and jerks or any sort of overhead press, like push press, anything like that. I'm more narrow than everybody else around me, and I've gotten asked here and there, why are you doing it like that? You should be wider. And I just tell them that's the way that works for me. I just say something simple like that. I don't, especially being a specialist physical therapist, unless somebody asks me, I'm not going to go drop everything on them about why they should be doing it as well. They have to be ready to hear it. So yeah, there's a couple people that are ready to hear it, and I might share with them why. Trainers oftentimes want to know why. I just want you to know and be warned that if you go out to the gym, especially if you're in a class setting like a CrossFit class, or you're working with a coach or a trainer, you might share this video with them or just explain to them that you feel best doing it this way. You feel good, you feel stronger, likely you will. You'll feel like you can pick up more weight this way. And that works for you, and that's okay. Most people are willing to accept that just fine. Now, the last bit that I want to give you here, the last problem that I see, is that when doing overhead lifts, whether it's with a barbell or with small weights, people don't use their legs. And it doesn't make sense up front, because especially if you're the type that you've always done, arm day or upper body day and then leg day or lower body day, where you split up your workouts like that's a good approach, definitely, so that you can have a plan when you go to the gym. But what I want to tell you about doing these overhead presses is using your legs is incredibly important. Making the movement strict so that you don't use your legs, in my opinion, is a very bad idea. Let me tell you why. The body uses tons of muscles, at least a dozen muscles on each shoulder, to get your arm up overhead. If you're starting from down here, or even lower, if you're bringing the weights down from your hips or thighs all the way to here and to here, or just straight on up, you're using tons of muscles to do that. And in different zones of the lift, different parts of the, wherever your hand or your shoulder's at, wherever the position of the joint's at, you're using a different muscle. At this zone, about right here where your shoulder's about 90 degrees relative to your body, you're using a lot of rotator cuff muscle to do that. Rotator cuff muscles are relatively small muscles compared to like your deltoid muscles, which are the ones that the teardrop shaped muscles that you see out here, or your shrugging muscles up here. Those are much, much bigger and much more power generating muscles than the rotator cuff muscles. In truth, rotator cuff muscles aren't supposed to be super strong. Their main job is to stabilize the ball against the socket, not to actually move it a whole lot. A lot of people think that they do rotation because of their name, and they contribute to rotation. But what they're really doing is stabilizing the ball in the socket as the joint moves, as it rotates or flexes or does any sort of motion. It's not intended to be the primary mover in rotation or any of the other motions. That's why you have all those other big muscles. So the reason why I'm recommending using your legs when doing overhead presses is so that you can offload your rotator cuff muscles and use your other big muscles more so during the lift. And the results are phenomenal. I've helped patients do this all the time. I've trained myself this way for years now, and I've gotten so much stronger in my overhead lift. I felt better throughout my whole body. I've never had any shoulder issues, never come close to it, in fact. And I think it's the way everybody should be lifting weights up overhead. So just to explain what to do with using your legs when doing an overhead lift, I'm gonna put the bar down for a second. What you've got to do is use your abs and your butt muscles. So if you're doing, let's just talk about one exercise, a push press, which means you're holding weights right here and then you're just coming up like so. Notice what I did there. I did a little baby squat, and then I used the momentum of my squat. I'm straightening out my legs here by squeezing my butt and sucking in my abs. That little quick motion allows me to get out of here. Remember, I said right here is where your rotator cuff muscles are being used a bit much. So if you use your legs to kind of help you out with that motion, it offloads the rotator cuff. And as you're shrugging on the way up, you start to use your primary shoulder muscles that you're supposed to be using to lift up overhead. So you might start with some light weights, like I've got my 5-pounders right here, just to practice the motion. And you don't have to do a big intense squat. You can if you want, but what I recommend is just a tiny squat, like a quarter squat, a little bit. Just basically bend your knees and hips a bit. And then when you come up, you've got to squeeze your butt muscles and shrug. Suck in your abs, butt tight and shrug. When you come up here, your butt should be tight. You should feel like you're pinching the cheeks together really good back there. And in truth, whenever I'm doing this exercise in the gym, yeah, I get an upper body workout and I feel my shoulder muscles up here, my traps, my trapezius muscles get pretty tired, but I also feel it in my butt, which isn't a bad thing, right? You get your butt workout while doing your upper body workout. And it's healthy for you. It's the way that you should be lifting weights up overhead. Because think about normal everyday movement. If you go pick up something heavy, let's say you're putting something away in a closet or you're doing some work around the house that requires you to reach up overhead, it's not just an arm motion. You're stabilizing with every muscle in your body, your back muscles, your ab muscles, your thigh muscles, your butt muscles, down to your feet muscles should be working. I oftentimes am talking to people about their foot muscles, their toes, whenever they're doing this lift, if they're coming in for a shoulder problem as we advance through treatment. So that'll be for another video, but talking about using your butt muscles today, that's the most important part. On grip here, by the way, overhand or underhand, overhand is what you want to be, so palms facing out away from you, and whether your thumbs are next to your fingers or wrapped around the bar, it doesn't matter, just as long as you're comfortable. I oftentimes will hold like this. So I'm gonna do my baby squat, my knees are coming out, butt is going down just a bit, and then in real time, so you can watch this, I'm gonna squeeze my butt and shrug up, and you're just pushing up like that. Once you get comfortable with the motion, then you can start to go faster, because you know that you're not gonna hit your face, you're not gonna knock out a tooth, bump your nose, or drop the bar. So make sure that you slow down at first as you learn this new motion so that you can get all the components right, so you can get your butt muscles to squeeze, your abs to engage, your shoulders to shrug, so that you're not messing this up and being dangerous. If you are gonna move a little more slow, that's totally fine. Just make sure you use all the muscles that I'm talking about here. And just a side note about rotator cuff problems, because that's the big scare with doing these kinds of overhead lifts, is that you're going to tear your rotator cuff. That's why doctors oftentimes tell you just stay away from overhead lifts. Don't pick up anything overhead. In the short term, that's great advice, because not lifting up overhead allows you to not use those tissues so that they reduce in irritation and feel better. But what you miss out on is strengthening those tissues so that they get stronger and heal and are farther and farther away from tearing, so that you can prevent a tear or a surgery down the line. I've got a video that explains exactly how rotator cuffs heal naturally without surgery. And just to give you the spoiler, it can. I'll tell you exactly how. Just go check out that video. It's in the link. So I've got a question for you. How have you been doing your overhead lifting? Have you been shrugging appropriately? Have you been using your butt muscles? What's your grip been like? Have you been more wide than you should have been? Drop a comment on here. Let me know what you learned. Let me know if you've been doing it wrong or right in the past. And I want to hear from you. And if you thought this video was helpful for you, please give us a like. Hit the subscribe button over there and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever we release helpful new videos to keep you healthy, active, and mobile while avoiding unnecessary surgery, medications, or injection. I hope you have the best day.